Hi guys, welcome back to another GGF video. Today we'll be doing a quick unboxing on the brand new ASUS Z170-A motherboard. Now I've literally just received this. This will be going into our display build for the ASUS event. So I'm just going to be doing a quick unboxing. I don't even have a CPU for this yet. So when the build gets down to the event, a CPU will be going in then. So some of the main sort of aspects theme of this, they've gone with the more newer sort of the X99 Deluxe sort of theming. As you can see, it's got the cover on the side and they've gone with the white and silver design. Now this is very similar to the Z170-Deluxe. So we were going to be putting that in the build we're doing. If you've been following our channel, you can see we've done the build in a brand new InWin 909 full-size tower. But yeah, they seem to have more of the Dash A's on hand than the Deluxe, so we'll probably just go with the Dash A. And you'll probably notice in my videos that I used the Mark S while testing the system, and I was saying that I've used a similar board that I already had on hand that looked like the new boards for the theme, and as you can see, it was kind of close as for the white theme and stuff like that, rather than using a ROG board. All right, so moving on to this one, some of the main things we get upgraded with the Z170's processor, we now have USB 3.1 built in on board. And I also noticed with this Dash A, we have NVMe built in as well, which is really good, because in some of the older boards, you sort of had to get more of the high-end boards to get that feature. All right, so we'll move on to anything sort of stand out here. Not really along here, SLI, Crossfire, HDMI, Windows 10 ready. I'm pretty sure that was going to be an assumption there. All right, so moving on to the back, some of the standout things. We've got Turbo LAN. Probably not many people would use that. It looks like it's just QoS. It just is going to optimize your game packet. So pretty much it'll have some type of ASUS developed QoS program. Crystal Sound 3. Probably an upgraded version of Crystal Sound, USB 3.1 on board, NVMe and M.2 PCI RAID support, so that's really sweet. And then your standard 5-way optimization, which has been around on the ASUS boards for a while. And now moving down to the board itself, it's probably some things you need to know. The DDR4 support is 64 gigs, so that's pretty sweet. Pretty sure consumer boards are around 32. And it goes up to 3400 OC, which is pretty sweet for the DDR4. Now we've got two PCIe Express slots, so we got actually we have three 16 by physical slots, but the two of them run at well, the top one runs at 16 by, and if you're running SLI, they will both run at 8 by, and then you have a third one that runs at 4 by max. So if you have a 16 by card, it'll run at 4 by max. And then we have three PCIe 1 by slots, and then we have a PCI slot. I'm not sure why they went with the PCI slot. I'm not sure why they did that, but I guess some people may use it. Standard VGA support is your DVI, D VGA port. I'm not sure why they probably gone with the VGA port, and then it has a display port and HDMI, so it actually has a heap of display ports, so we'll have a look once we open that up. SATA, it's got 6 by SATA 6, which is pretty sweet, and 2 ports from the SATA Express, so it has that as well. Let's see, we've got Intel LAN, which is good, Realtek audio, and some other interesting things is USB 3.0 ports, and it has your, where is it? Yeah, USB, so we have a Type A USB 3.1 and we have a USB Type C 3.1. So that's really sweet how we're going to have those new USB ports built in. You don't have to get a silly riser card or something like that on current boards at the moment. All right, so we'll have a quick look at what's in the box first. Probably not going to be too much, being a Dash A board. I definitely won't be expecting this one to be the top of the line board, but it'll be sort of your mid-range. So we have a SLI bridge, a very, very small bridge there. Looks like it would, I don't even know if that would just reach between the two slots. Have your standard Q connectors. They actually do come in quite handy. Actually notice they've given you a CPU installation tool. Makes processor installation easy. I've actually never seen that. A tool to help you install your processor. Your I/O shield, very, very basic I/O shield, not one with the fancy black and all the writing on there. It doesn't even have that bit of sort of static foam on the back. some SATA cables. It looks like we've got 3 all up, so maybe they skimped out a bit on the SATA cables. Then we have your manual, your CD, sticker and whatnot, and we have some little thing here that clips. It looks like a sort of riser screw with a screw head. Not sure what that's for. And then we have notice for, okay, that's just something about talking about M.2 and your USB driver for Windows 7, recommended OS and whatnot. Alright, so that's that out of the way. So yeah, as I said, this is purely an unboxing. It's not a review. I don't even have a CPU for it, so I can't even test this thing to see if it works, but I can just hope that it works. Alright, so that's the board there. I actually noticed that it's kind of, it looks like it's got a brown PCB. That's interesting. I really thought it would have been a black sort of style PCB. I thought if they go into all the trouble to have this nice cover on it, they might have made it black, but you probably won't notice it too much. Does look rather interesting. And then on the back, you can really see how brown it is there. Alright, so I just thought I'd get a bit closer up on the I/O shield and some of your connectors. So you get your 2 standard USB 2.0, you have your HDMI, your DisplayPort, your DVI, D and your VGA. So you've got a heap of outputs there. Now we have your standard USB 3.0, we have your combo keyboard, PS2 and mouse port. Probably not sure why they use those, but I guess it's still handy to have those on. We have your Intel RJ45 gigabit network connection. We have your USB 3.1 Type A, so that's more your standard traditional longer one. And then we have your USB 3.1 Type C. So I'm not sure what even uses Type C connectors yet. I do have noticed on some of the in-win cases I've been using, they have the Type C as well. So I'm assuming we're going to be getting a lot of peripherals and devices coming out with the Type C connector. Alright, so I just got a little bit closer up on the board so we can actually see some of the components. Now we'll move from our top, we'll cover the top half and then we'll focus down to the bottom half after that. So we have your standard EPS 8-pin connector along the top here, pretty much standard position there. Now we've got some new design, sort of darkish silver, looks like aluminium sort of heatsink, so they look really nice on the MOSFETs there. Blends in nice with the white cover over here, as well with the nice heatsink and white cover down here. We have your new DDR4 slots on these boards. Now this is the first time you don't have to go out and get X99. And this is some of extra DDR4 and that just fits in there nicely. So what I've been told to believe that with the ASUS boards, I'll be doing the DDR3 on the lower end and DDR4 on the higher end. So you most likely won't be seeing a cross between DDR3 and DDR4 on the same board. Moving along, we have your standard 24-pin connector, a USB 3.0 front panel header, batteries in a pretty easy spot. It's not going to be covered by anything. You're going to be able to get there. Looking at fan headers, we got CPU fan, CPU optional, and then we have 1, 2, 3 more over here, and that looks like it for this half. Yep, that's all I can see. One more thing that might stand out is I've noticed on these boards, just not with ASUS but other brands as well, we're getting this sort of pattern around the CPU area. I'm not sure if it's mandatory or it's just something. It's kind of like an etched in design. I'm not sure why they've gone behind that. And then we have the socket itself, which is now 1151. So instead of 1150, 1155 or 1151, which is interesting. Just go down to the bottom half. All right, so moving along the bottom half, we have the SATA Express along here. Your 4 SATA ports. So it says that 2 of them were shared with SATA Express, which gave you the 6. Then we have your M.2 port as well, and you've got your 1, 2, 3, 4 screw down points. Now moving on the bottom here, we have your standard front panel headers there. That seems to be in a standard spot. We have an EZ XMP switch, so I can only assume that that's just going to be an easy XMP switch for your memory to get the speed right. Just flick that on. Then we have another USB 3.0. I find that's pretty sweet, especially on a Dash A board. You're going to get the two 3.0 front panel headers, because there's many cases now that come with 4 on the case. Now we look like we've got some standard USB along here. We have your COM, I guess if some people are still using that. and we have your front panel audio along here, and then your crystal sound. Now I'll be interested to see if this still lights up. You can see it's got the sort of the trails for the edge lighting along here, so it'll be sweet if that does light up, and I'll be keen to see what color it lights up as well. But as I said, I don't have a CPU, so I can't test this. I did try putting power on the 24 and the EPS without a CPU just to see if it would light up, but it didn't, so it might need to be on. The only thing I noticed that came on was there's a little LED light here, and then we've got a power switch as well, which is pretty sweet that we're still getting a power switch on the Dash A. And now moving on to the porch, which I said before, you've got your two main 16 bys. So this will be 16 on its own. If you're doing SLI Crossfire, these two will run at 8. And then this port down here, the 16 by, is locked at 4 by, it said. And then we got your 1, 2, 3, 1 bys, and then your PCI. So as I said before, not sure why PCI. I guess some people may still be using them. And now fan headers for the bottom half, we seem to have one. Trying to see if that's it. That does look like it. So you just got one. So you got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's still quite a few, 6 fan headers. Like I myself don't use a heap of fan headers myself. I sort of use other areas to power fans, but I guess a lot of sort of traditional users will probably rely on fan headers. I don't seem to use them just because they're slightly a bit messier. You can see the cables running up to the motherboard. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it I can sort of do on this video. I'm not going to go and cover every single sort of item where it is laid out on the board. So that's some of the main things. And you can really see the brown. My only downside is the brown PCB. I'm not sure why they did that. I guess if you stand back, it's not too bad. In a case, you might not even notice it at all. But I definitely guess a black one might have been a better option to go. But I'll be interested to see if the Deluxe and other models have the brown PCB as well. But yeah, just want to say thanks for ASUS for sending this out. This should look pretty good in the display build I'm doing. And thanks for watching, and stay tuned for next time.